Just going to invite disciples of Srila Prabhupada to come and speak first. So up to about 10 minutes, because there's a lot of people to go around. Shashwini Didi, can you hear me? If you can speak up to about 10 minutes.
Have you got the bell?
Yes, got the cartel.
Could we have the light on?
A light? Yes. Narani, I'll have Jagatam Didi, if you'd like to say some words as well about Sri Gurudeva. And then we'll have Ramananda Prabhu, Devi, Larli, Shamali Didi, Sundarananda Prabhu, Krishna Kripa, Madhumanga, who's in the kitchen at the moment, and at the end we'll check for time if anybody else would like to go with Sri Gurudeva. We have until around about 8:30ish. Okay, so I'll just pass the microphone over to Shashwini.
This way?
Who's going first?
Where's that? Will it reach?
Yeah.
Free mouth. Yeah, we got free mouth.
Is it not live anymore?
No, it's live.
Yeah.
It says live.
It says live, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
No,
person
you're good.
on it.
Just your shoulder.
So I'll just say something quickly about Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. This morning, this is a little book about Maharaj. Oh, this is a little book about Maharaj. So this morning I said, okay, show me something. And I just opened it. And I actually opened it at the back where it's got a lecture that he gave, which I had never read before. And just this little page where I opened it at said such sweet things, and I thought I would just mention some of the things it said. So first of all, on the front it says, when kindness and compassion take a form. So that was how Bhaktivedanta Maharaj was explained, when kindness and compassion take a form. Okay. Yeah, so when I opened it, he was saying how we often see newcomers come to the path of sadhana, and then we get really enthusiastic, and then after a while it wears off. And so he was actually making the point how we can actually be too enthusiastic and we can over-endeavour and take on more than actually we can do. And we can also under-endeavour and he was making that point to get the balance, which I thought was really interesting, because sometimes after many years we start to realise that ourselves, that we're doing too much or we're doing too little. And then he made the point after that, which was very interesting, that we had to be, what was the word he used? Wait a minute, Sanskrit word, if I can remember, where was it? Antaranishta. He was saying how we had to be doing it inside. Not that we're just doing it, but we're not really there. We're not conscious. And then he made the point about crying. He said, why do we cry? In this world we cry when we want something. We cry, oh, we're missing so much. So he said, how often do we consider what is our greatest need that we really need to cry for? So to become, when we read, when we hear from the sadhus, and we hear those things, then we have to really deeply think about that. This is actually our real necessity, our real thing that we're missing, and that's what we should be crying for, and that's what we need to do our sadhu for enthusiastically. So I just thought that was really, really nice, actually, that Brahma Maharaj was, I think they were Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, weren't they? Trivikram Maharaj was Shiva, the destroyer, destroyed the anartas of the heart. And Brahma Maharaj was Brahma because he initiated everyone, so he was like the one who created. And Srila Gurudev was Vishnu because he maintained everyone. So they're very amazing. So just a little something there about Brahma Maharaj. And they all got initiated together. I think they were the first ones really to take sannyas. Yeah, and they all took together. The amazing thing is, that they all supported each other. They were really powerful, the three of them together. Nobody could defeat them. Nobody could get past there. They were like the foundation. They protected everything, the Siddhanta and everything like that. And then gradually, ultimately, one by one they left like that. So Srila Gurudev, although this is Srila Gurudev's disappearance day, but he hasn't really disappeared, I have to say. Yeah, I'm sure probably many people, you don't even have to be doing everything perfectly like in Welsh, but if you're really in your heart longing and wishing and desiring and trying under whatever circumstances you may be going through or the changes we go through, he is definitely there and he proves himself to be there. So, yeah, what can I say? He's just super kind. Srila Prabhupada, actually Srila Prabhupada asked many people to come to the West. He actually asked many people to come to the West. But Srila Gurudev was the one who actually did it. And just like Srila Prabhupada, he really actually did understand our hearts. You know, the hearts of us Westerners, or me Westerner. Yeah, and he was very, very kind. Yeah, what to say? I mean, how can we even begin to think who these devotees are? They're manjaris from the spiritual world. I mean, it's quite unbelievable, really, that they've come here in another form and we've actually met them and they've given us blessings and they're still with us and they're still coming in different forms, in different ways, sending people to us, coming in dreams, and proving the fact that they still are here. And it's amazing to me, actually, with Narayan Maharaj, I have to say, my heart is so with Srila Prabhupada. And he always told me, every time he saw me, he told me, you are Swamijis. Always. But for me, it's the perfect Shiksha Guru, because the Shiksha Guru makes you more attached to your Diksha Guru. At the same time, I mean, just this last year, he has proved himself to be there, watching me and guiding me and being my well-wisher in different ways this last year, which has really, really deeply touched my heart, I have to say, if I'm honest. You know, it's like I'm sort of looking at this picture going, wow, why? You know, and I just see how there's absolutely no envy amongst these pure devotees from one to the other. They're completely working together. They're like, that's the example they always give, they're like a garland of flowers and you can't miss one out, you know. So the group, they're working together. They all have different natures and give different things. And Srila Gurudev taught me so many, many, many things. So, yes, even though we could say it's his disappearance day, for me, he's in some ways more here than he was when he was on the planet. in some ways. And yeah, a few of the things he taught me that I found were very, very, very important. One thing was how to reconcile the seeming differences between pure devotees. Phil, did you ring the bell?
Yeah.
Oh, never did. Okay, I'm finishing. Yeah. So he taught very many special things that were really, really important to our bhakti. How to reconcile the seeming differences, meaning of pure Shuddha bhakti, how to tune in on that different level, how all the different things fit together. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special thing, the difference between ordinary nam and prem nam. So, yeah, Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Rama ki jai, and obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Okay.
Wait,
All the time, I'm just sitting on the ship chair.
sorry, it's fine. Thank you. I should have said that.
Hare Krishna. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Namaha. I offer my most humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Diksha and Shri Guru Srila Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I offer my most humble obeisances unto my Shiksha Guru Srila Narayan Maharaj. So, I'd like to just speak very briefly about Raman Maharaj. I was very privileged that one time I was with Uma Devi, and she was on her way to see her Gurudeva, Raman Maharaj, and so she swept me up and took me with her. And it was in Mayapur, I believe it was, or somewhere, no, it was in Navadvip. And we went to see him, we paid our obeisances, and he was just so much like a loving father to her. He was so, just, you could feel the protectiveness that he was feeling toward her. And she felt completely, free to speak whatever she wanted to speak. And they were speaking like friends. And so that made me realize, in her case, he was her Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. So our scriptures tell us that with the Diksha Guru, there's generally more formality. We bow down and offer our most humble obeisances to our Diksha Guru. And there's maybe some awe and reverence there. But with the Shiksha Guru, generally there's considered to be more friendship. So, by the mercy of some of my god sisters, I came to meet Srila Narayan Maharaj, and I think I wanted to hold on to that mood of awe and reverence with him. That's all I knew. That's how you treat a respected senior devotee. And so I always felt that, but Narayan Maharaj, he wanted to cut through that with me. So in many ways he was being very friendly with me. And I've told these leelas before, but one time we were in Jagannath Puri, and Srila Narayan Maharaj was standing, and there were about a crowd of about 5 layers of devotees around him in a circle. And I was standing behind everyone else. And he was looking at the different devotees and talking to them. And I was thinking in my mind, oh, I wish he would just look at me once. And as soon as I thought that, immediately he turned his head like 180 degrees and looked straight at me. So that was very nice, his mystic potency coming from Sukha Soul. And there was another time, it was also in Mayapur, and he was in his room on his bed, and I was there, and I wanted to give him a donation. So Madhava Maharaj invited me into the bedroom, and I knelt down while he was sitting cross-legged on his bed, and I gave him the donation. And I said, Gurudeva, I would like to become more close with you. And he said, oh, look, you are so close to me. Because physically I was. Of course, I'm sure he knew that I meant emotionally close. And but I felt that kind of loving and caring, friendly mood from him. One time we were in Mathura. We had come from Vrindavan to hear his lecture in Mathura, and there was maybe 100 devotees in the temple room. And I was just standing by the pillar, and I was quite new in the Sangha. But when he was giving the lecture, at one point, he completely directed everything toward me. His eyes were on me and was focusing on me for a really long time, and I was wondering, why is he doing that? But later on I understood that he's actually giving mercy, and that's one way that a guru gives mercy, simply by their glance, you know. So I think there might be other pastimes, but I can't remember them now. But another interesting thing is, for me, I was a bit of not a scholar, but I did love to read Srila Prabhupada's books. And I was raised in ISKCON by my temple president, Govinda Swarup Prabhu, who was a PhD, very intelligent devotee. And Prabhupada told him, you should give class every single day in the temple, which he did. And so Govinda Swarup Prabhu, like in those days, all devotees went out on the street and did book distribution. So I did that, and we went into the town of Philadelphia, and I spent a lot of time in the Philadelphia airport distributing Prabhupada's books. We even distributed the big books, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, in the airport. But but then every Sunday, Govinda Swarup Prabhu gave all the devotees all day long to read Prabhupada's books. So because I was very busy on book distribution all week long, on Sunday I would sit on the porch, which was outside the temple room, the temple building, for 5 hours, and I had all the books around me, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion. So I would read through all the books. And I read Srimad Bhagavatam through the years about 9 times. But I'd never read all of Srila Narayan Maharaj's books. Some of them I read, like Bhakti Rasayan, which is such a sweet book. So in 2020, at the beginning of COVID, I was praying to Radharani, please give me some service, because we weren't going to the temple, there was no service available. And so she gave me the idea to do a reading group online with other devotees who also needed association. So that's why our 3 fellows are here now. We started this reading group, and I just started reading from Srila Narayan Maharaj's books. The first one being Bhakti Rasayan. Everyone know that book? That book is so full of sweetness. There's so many beautiful, sweet leelas in that book that only Gurudeva himself is able to narrate. I think one pastime he narrated was how one young girl got married, and then she moved in from her original home into the home of her husband, and she was hearing about Krishna. So she heard so many people talking about this beautiful boy, and she wanted to also see this beautiful boy. But her mother-in-law said, no, you cannot go out. You will become crazy. You will lose your mind. Just stay in the house, do your duty, and that's it. But she still had this desire to go out. So Krishna, knowing the desire of his devotee, one day was passing through her village and with the cows and the calves, and he twisted the tail of one of the calves, telling the calf psychically, please run to that house where my devotee is. So the calf runs there, and on the pretext of looking for his calf, Krishna runs after him to find him, and the calf is standing outside the house of that young woman, and she's looking through the window, and Krishna looks at her, and then so finally she sees Krishna, and her heart melts. So this is one of the leelas. I can't tell it as beautifully as he does in the book, but it's one of the leelas that Narayan Maharaj gave. And so many very sweet leelas. So I think my heart melted hearing and reading these beautiful pastimes from Srila Narayan Maharaj. And we went through our reading group over the years, from 2020 till now. We've read all of Srila Narayan Maharaj's books, except for one. Jaiva one book we didn't read. But anyway, thank you everyone for being here and for allowing me to be present in all of your Sangha. Srila Gurudeva ki jai. Srila Gurudeva and Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Can you hear can you hear these ring? Or am I doing it softly?
I think you're doing it very soft. You're doing it as if I can't say.
Couldn't hear it at all. Is it good like that?
Yeah.
Is that good? Okay, fine.
Do like
Hello. I'm sorry I can't recite much scripture before I start, but I'd just like to say how beautiful it is to be here in your company again. And so many faces who I recognise. We've only met a few times, but it's been really, really special, the times that we have met, that it's sunk into my heart, not just into my mind. And I take up what you said about trying to do too much to begin with. I think that's something I've been doing, but I've not got much time, so I want to keep doing it, and that's why we keep turning up to these lovely events. Ramprasad Prabhu here drives down to Barnsley in Yorkshire to come and accompany me and make sure that I can come to these events, because as you can see I'm a little bit hampered with my breathing. But he said to me this time, he said, you know, Ramanath Prabhu is a Narayan Maharaj devotee. He initiated him in 2010. And Ramanath said to us, he said, I'm really missed out. I feel as though I didn't connect with my Gurudeva, because I got so much stick from the ISKCON people in Sheffield. You'll never progress now, you'll never do this. He said, and I've been over the years, 16 years by the way, still gone to every Namahat in Sheffield, but he felt ostracised a little bit. Ramprasad said, we've got to take Ramanath down to this event down at the Bhakti Yogi Centre. He said, so, I hope you're coming along. I wouldn't miss it for the world. My sixth Guru, Jagatam Tasi, is so wonderful that we can't, but I would like to thank Ramprasad for his seva to me, and for him thinking about Ramanath and introducing him to some God brothers and sisters in in this building, and some of my god brothers and sisters as well. So, thank you, Narayan Maharaj, for being so merciful as to include us in your line and to make sure that we stick together and we actually spread the love that they spread. So, that's about it, really.
Omanana Tamarandasya Janan Jana Shalakaya Satsiran Militam Jana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Okay, so what I want to say is thanks very much to Jagatam Didi for also thank you to Gurudeva as well and Srila Prabhupada. What happened was that, you know, I've been trying to practice Krishna consciousness for quite a while. You know, it took me 34 years of not really liking Krishna. That's true. I didn't like Krishna. And you know, at the temple, I was told if I don't attend Krishna book morning, no prasadam for the whole day. So I had to go. So I had a problem with Krishna. I couldn't fathom him at all, and it's all these fairy stories and all that stuff, you know. But I was quite happy just to help out and do some service and that. That's fine. And what happened in the end was I got introduced to Jagatam to come on Zoom by Premananda Prabhu. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. So I'm grateful to him for his relaying the fact that the Zoom was on, and it was just a tentative, you know, let's see what it's like. And then Jagatam mercifully explained about Radharani, whom I hadn't really had very much about, hardly anything in fact. And when I started to understand about the whole system, you know, how it works and everything, I thought, Krishna's not too bad actually. He's a good lad actually. You know? I actually liked him for a change. It took me 34 years to get to that point. And now for the last 4 years or so I've been, you know, getting right into it. And, you know, it's a whole big sea change. Whole big thing. Really deep. Goes deep, deep, deep. And I can actually start reading now. I'm actually starting to read scripture. Before, no. Be lucky if I get 5 minutes, and then that's it. Alright? But now I can read all day if I want to. I've got a taste for it. And it's wonderful. And I'm bursting to tell folk, but it's very difficult up there in Scotland. So that's the way it is, you know. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to Jagatam Didi, and also to Premananda Prabhu, who was a messenger, a Bhakti. So the Dakis are Bhaktis too. You know, the Manjaris too.
Narayan Maharaj who gave us the concept of Radha Dasya.
Sorry?
Narayan Maharaj gave us this idea of Radha Dasya.
Yeah. And so it's all coming. I mean, it's just slowly happening, but getting there somewhere, you know. So I'm just hoping, I just want all your blessings, please, to make progress. And thank you very much for letting me speak. Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Premanandi.
Will you give it to Prabhupada? You speak something. I'm a 2010 disciple too, so no problem.
Okay, so my story has been into Krishna from 17, ISKCON again. Ended up getting persuaded to go to Venice in 2010. Narayan Maharaj was over there and he was initiating loads of people, and I had some god brothers and sisters at the time that were actually initiated. and they were saying, why don't you get initiated? And it was really funny that Jagavan Tam said about his stare, because he was just finishing, he'd just done Kirtan, a couple of thousand people in a great big tent. And I was thinking again, I wonder if he'll look at me. You know, he was just getting in his car, and just as he was just bowing his head down, he stood back up and he just looked straight across to me, and I was like, he melted me heart. And there was something I noticed, and it sounds daft, but I just noticed his childlike hands, like the hands of a 20-year-old man. And I just thought, this guy is in an old body, you know, probably not long for leaving his body actually at the time. And I just noticed how lovely his demeanour was, his hands, just the way he looked straight through me, to be honest, because I'm a bit of a rascal. But I knew then that I'm going to take initiation. And it was my birthday the next day, and so he gave me Mangala Mangala, and that really touched me hard. So I had a real close dark chat with him. The rest is history, and I'm here today to try and connect with people, because I'm up there. Don't get me wrong, ISKCON a great side family, but they're not my lineage, so nice to be here with everyone. All glory to Narayan Maharaj.
Yamatiramadasya Shalakaya Chakshurunetanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Narayana Dinami Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Maudaya Madhurya Gunaishrektam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Sarasam Viranginam Bhakta Shiromani Shri Krishna Pratap Jai Kariti Chaitanya Lilamita Sara Narayanam Tam Saranam Prabhati Mancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kapasni Rupe Vachapati Tanam Bhavnibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. I have my phone. There's a line over there.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the appearance day of our spiritual masters, we glorify them, and we glorify the Guru Varga, and on the disappearance day it goes quite similarly, but the mood is always slightly different, because even though it is always a celebration and always a happy occasion for those of us who struggle to have that realization, it is a bittersweet time, because it is a reminder of the amazing magnanimity that is our Gurudev, and how he came into our lives, and what he brought into our lives, and also how that is a moment in the past, in our experience, and how now seemingly he is not here physically. It was, I remember when Gurudev left, it was the 30th or 31st of December, and I was in Germany, and I remember my mom coming and waking me up and telling me the news, and it just being this surreal moment, because we all knew it was coming, and at the same time, it's kind of hard to conceptualize when you spend years and years, if you're lucky enough with someone like Srila Gurudev, that one day he's not going to be here to, keep me in line or chastise me or keep a direct eye, apparently, in my understanding, or that I can just go and ask him something, or even write a letter or something like that. These very human actions that we are fortunate to receive, that is something that Gurudev, when he comes in a personal form like this, that is our good fortune, because Guru is eternal, and Guru is beyond time and our conception of space. Guru is Baladev and Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And as we were hearing recently from Srimad Nrsimha Prabhu, he was giving that amazing class where he went into detail. He drilled down why and how is it that Guru is closer to us than the air that we breathe. And I won't try to give the full explanation that he did, because he did such an amazing job. And I need to go and learn that class. Just like he said, we need to learn these classes. We need to have them down pat. That is a class we need to have down pat. Because Gurudeva said this to us directly, I'm closer to you than the air that you breathe. And the realization of what that really means, it goes not just into the emotional or sentimental relationship that we might have with him at our level of understanding, but it goes very deep into Guru Tattva and the gravity that comes with the presence of Sri Guru, and actually the inescapable presence of Sri Guru in our lives. But for when we cannot realize that, when we don't already have that understanding and relationship, then he comes physically, like Srila Gurudeva did. And for many, many years, this was not something I could understand. Oh, how amazing is this? Because frankly, I was too young and too stupid and could not really appreciate, how hard is life and how amazing is it when someone like this comes along. And through hearing from my senior God brothers and God sisters, that is actually how I feel like my relationship with Srila Gurudeva started to awaken in a more conscious sense. And that is one of the big reasons why these days, Appearance Day, and even more importantly, Disappearance Day, is one of my favorite festivals in the world, because those are the days where I will get to hear from each and every one of you how Gurudeva came into your lives, how Gurudeva affected the trajectory of your lives, and how you have become changed in such a way that we can have such amazing relationships, because there is something very specific that Gurudeva did that happened at such a scale that is a little surreal. In fact, it's so surreal you have to a little bit think about it. So many different people under one umbrella, held together. So many different people that, if you look now, some people get along better, some people don't get along so well. It's such a big Sangha, and it's how it goes. But somehow or another, through Gurudeva's presence and mercy, there's a binding force, and that is what Guru is. Guru means heavy. It means gravity, it means mass. There is no frivolousness, no lightness, no effervescence there. It is permanence at the deepest level of philosophy, of physics, of reality, and ultimately of spirituality. How to realize what and who Sri Guru is, and to go also beyond some impersonal idea of Guru Tattva and start to appreciate who is my Gurudev, who is Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, what is his relationship with all of the pure devotees in our Guru Varga. It's quite amazing. He attuned his preaching. Yashaswini Didi was saying he understood our hearts. He attuned his preaching and his teaching and his method so many times. I mean, really, for every individual. But also we can look at the historical movements and changes. And it's for those who saw him in India before he started preaching in the West. I get to hear sometimes, his method of teaching and preaching was very different at the time. And the capacity to attune and adjust and really find the right thing for time, place, and circumstance. This is one of the hallmarks of the great acharyas, and especially of those who are coming from a truly self-realized and transcendental platform, because then they come with a transcendental vision that Krishna grants. This expertise, this is something Gurudev showed, perhaps in an unprecedented way. I was also privy to, someone apparently did some math recently and worked out that Srila Narayan Maharaj initiated over 100,000 people in his time.
Wow.
Which is an insane number. Prabhupada in 12 years initiated 5,000 people, which was unprecedented until then pretty much as well. And then to come along, and I think sometimes we don't realize, because he was preaching for so long, and then he was also in so many places, and the Sangha has a less formal quality perhaps than ISKCON's like history has. But for someone to touch the hearts of 100,000 people like that is, to me, that's insane. And that really just, it made me think, this is, his mercy is an explosion that started happening 20 years ago in my mind, but really before that. But it's still not even like begun to really, to ripple out or to finish exploding. Like this explosion is still currently happening. All of the people that he touched are everywhere, all over the world right now, and are affected permanently, unchangeably. Like it's a mercy, and it's an energy, and it's a power that is still unfolding, even though apparently he's physically not here. But I think that we really haven't begun to see the true impact of Srila Narayana Goswami Maharaj, my Srila Gurudeva.
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय श्रीराधिकाप्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायण गोस्वामी नामिने श्रीकृष्णलीलाकथने सुदक्षमौदार्य माधुर्यगुणैष्टयुक्तम् वरं वरेण्यं पुरुषं महन्तं नारायणं त्वं शिरसा नमामि। त्रिदण्डिनां भक्तशिरोमणिं च श्रीकृष्णपदाब्जधृतैकहृदि चैतन्यलीलामृतसारसारं नारायणं त्वं सततं प्रपद्ये। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुवरं श्रीरूपानुगप्रवरं ब्रजरसरसिकं च नारायणं तं प्रपन्नम्। श्रीगुरुचरणं वन्दे रमणपृष्ठाय भूतले रूपानुगभक्तिदं च कृपामूर्तिनारायणं। नाम श्रेष्ठमनुमपि शचिपुत्रमत्र रूपं तस्याग्रजमुरुपुरीं माथुरीं गोष्ठवातिं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरमहो राधिका माधवाशाम् प्राप्तो यस्य प्रथितकृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि। नमस्ते गुरुदेवाय सर्वसिद्धिप्रदायिने सर्वमङ्गलरूपाय सर्वानन्दविधायिने। हे श्रीगुरुज्ञानदीनबन्धो स्वानन्ददातः करुणैकसिन्धु वृन्दावनश्रीनहितवतार प्रसिद्ध राधा प्रणय प्रचार त्रायस्व भो जगन्नाथ गुरौ संसार वहनिना दग्धं मां कालदष्टं च त्वामहं शरणं गतः। राधा सम्मुख संशक्तिं सखी संगनिवासिनीं तामहं सततं वन्दे गुरुरूपां परां सखीं। त्वं गोपिका वृषरवेस्तनयान्ति केशि सेवाधिकारिणि गुरो निजपादपद्मे। दास्यं प्रदाय कुरु मां व्रजकानने श्री राधाङ्घ्रिसेवनरसे सुखिनीं सुखाब्धौ। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्वमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणीम्। नारायण परो योगो नारायण परं तपः नारायण परं ज्ञानं नारायण परागति। नमो विष्णुपादाय केशवपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त वामनिति नामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिते Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratyushe Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Prabrajantamanupeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakataraya Juhava Putreti Tanmayataya Tarvobhinedustam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanutosmi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vidyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. First of all, I offer my most humble Dandvat Pranam unto the lotus feet of my Paramaradhitama Gurudeva, Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotar Shatashi Shriman Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and beg for his causeless mercy, his heartly blessings. Thereafter unto his dear Abhinna Swarup, his dear god brother, Nitrila Vishnu Vishnu Pada Ashtotar Shatashi Shriman Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, whose appearance festival, Yasa Puja, we're celebrating today. Thereafter unto the entire Rupanuga, Gauda Guruvaiga, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Dandavat Pranam. So today we are celebrating. Do you guys feel celebratory? Today we're celebrating the disappearance of Srila Gurudeva, which seems a contradiction in itself. When ordinary people leave this world, we mourn, we dress in dark clothes, and we make sure we're really sad, we don't smile at anyone, and we make a very big endeavor to make sure that we feel sad. And it's not that difficult if a dear one actually leaves. But with Viraha, when it comes in relation to the transcendental personality, whom we know is not limited to time, place, circumstances, and physicalities. There's a whole new dimension which allows us to feel a certain form of joy. At least we try to. And if we can't, then there is some homework for us to do to figure out, why am I not feeling joy at this festival? Maybe because I'm hungry. Maybe because I live in London. There's many different reasons to be sad. When I lived in London, I thought it was great, but when I moved out and I came back here, it's like, oh, you guys don't have any oxygen in here. That's why you're all dying. That makes more sense. But so there's many different reasons to be sad, especially if you live in London. But also you have the oxygen of devotional association. So, you know, which one do you want to have? So today we're celebrating the disappearance of our Srila Gurudeva. This disappearance and appearance is, this tattva is quite intertwined, because you have Sambhog, which is uniting, milan, and then there's Vipralambha, which is separation. Now, Sambhog, or meeting, when you're together with the Vaishnavas or your worshipable object, what you are doing in that time when you are together, when you are physically together, all your endeavors are being made to make that personality enter into your heart and take a seat internally. The purpose of external association is to internalize, to make that person appear in one's heart. And this is what we're doing here. We're coming together, we have some hope, we're meeting all together with the prayer that in our heart there's an appearance. So this is Sambhog. Vipralambha, when you are in separation, feeling deep pangs of separation, what you end up doing is that worshipful deity that is sitting inside your heart, on the throne of your heart, you want him to manifest externally. You see how these two are intertwined so closely together. In Sambhog, we're trying to deepen what is in our heart. And in Vipralambha, separation, which is today's festival, we want that personality to manifest externally in front of us. And how do we do that? How do we make Sri Guru manifest in front of our eyes? Because that's what this separation festival is all about. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is mention of many wars, but there's a war between Lord Indra and Vritasur. I won't go into the details, but Vritasur is a demon, or at least he assumed the form of a demon, and Lord Indra, a demigod, and they were fighting this battle, and Vritasur was about to be defeated. And when he was about to defeat it, he asked for a timeout. He said, Indra, hold on, take a break. Before you kill me, I am going to call... No, first I want to explain to you that there are two types of mercy that we can achieve. One is kripa, one is karuna. Kripa, if you break it down, kri is to do kriya, and pa is to get. If you do something, you will get something. This is kripa. And karuna is something that you will be given without your having any qualification, without you having done anything. So there's a difference between kripa and karuna. And Vritasur told Lord Indra that you will not be receiving karuna. And Lord Indra was a bit like, yeah, okay. What's your point? He was a bit confused, like, why did we stop this battle? I tried to kill you. This demon who wants to take over the heavenly planets, wants to take over everything, is now lecturing me on kripa and karuna. What's going on? Vritasur said, okay, hold on. Vritasur recites a prayer which makes Lord Krishna appear right there and then on the battlefield. Wow, I forgot what my point was with the story, but I might as well finish it now. So,
how do you make Sri Guru manifest?
Thank you.
Oh, well done.
Following 30 seconds.
So,
I did shorter, so you can do longer.
No, you did 10 minutes.
oh, is my time up?
You did 5
About
minutes.
to.
For our money.
No, but according to Bhakti Zoom, that doesn't count.
This is stop it.
It's not like this.
Mine is going to be very short, so you can take some of my time.
No, I don't want to take any more time.
No,
Take
you
some time.
Okay, so Vritasura, he calls Krishna, he immediately appears because he knows I didn't have much time. He appears there on the battlefield, right there and then, and asks Vritasura, ask for any benediction, whatever it is that you want. And Brahma, Indra, all the demigods, imagine, they're like, oh my God, literally, God appeared, and he's asking him for a benediction. We were just fighting. I was about to win, I was going to kill him. Jai Braj Mohan Prabhu Ki Jai. I was about to kill him, and then Lord Krishna, Braj Mohan himself, appeared in the middle of the battlefield. What is going to happen if Vritasur asks Braj Mohan for Brahmalok or Indralok, and then everything is lost? So all the demigods got really concerned and worried. What is he going to ask? And then the famous words that Gurudeva recites all the time, and I can't finish the verse, Nanaka Prishtam Nachaparamishtam. I do not wish to be Sarvabhauma. I do not wish to be the Lord of this world, the heavenly planets, Brahmalok. I don't want anything. I just want to be your servant. I fully surrender unto you. This is the qualification for your worshipful Lord to appear. If we are celebrating the Viraha Mahotsav of Sri Guru, and like I said, Viraha means you want the Lord of your heart to manifest externally. The only way for that to be possible is like Vritasur, to be fully surrendered. If there's no full, complete surrender, the worshipful Lord of your heart will not manifest. So this is how Braj Mohan entered into the battlefield and delivered this message. And so that was related to the point. And so that is that. Okay. Now, so we come here together to worship Sri Guru, and we wish for him to manifest in front of our eyes. And the answer to this is full surrender. Now, how do we do this? Where does this full surrender come from? They also take care of that. Sri Guru speaks sweet and wonderful Harikatha. When they appear into this world, they create a storm. The whole planet becomes infatuated with Sri Guru. In fact, when our Srila Gurudeva, Srila Bhakti Goswami Maharaj, came for the first time to the West on the 5th of May 1996, prior to this, Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj left this world in February, and soon before that he announced that in 1996 the Prema Yuga will start and that the Acharya will be manifested. And many devotees thought he would be doing that. But then Gurudeva came. 1 + 1 is 2. You can figure out who that would be then. And in 1995, Kartik, what happened? If you all remember, for those who were alive in 1995, Ganesh was drinking milk. Lord Shiva was drinking milk. All over the world, deities, Gopal deities, they were all, you take a spoon of milk, you put it in front of a deity in any temple all over the world, they were drinking milk. This happened right before Gurudeva came. What else happened? Mother Mary, all over the world, she was crying blood. Right before Gurudeva came. Happened in 1995.
Wow.
All of these things, the planet was basically with hair standing erect in ecstasy for Srila Gurudeva finally coming to the West. Now, when we look back 15 years ago, the further we step away or are pushed away from that time period that he was with us, 1996 in the West till 2010, the further we step away from it, the more magnanimous and amazing that time period looks, and the more like a dream. Like, what on earth happened? How were we ever part of something like that? And, well, for some years we were trying to recreate it and see if it could happen, but by now most of us have given up and just, live our lives. But it was such an amazing time period. And of course, sure, it can come back. I mean, Victor Sura did it, so we can make it happen. Sorry for downing that a little bit. But, so in 2010, go Premanand. So, like I said, in 96, the whole planet stood in erect. On 29th of December, yes, the morning that Srila Gurudeva left, do you all know what happened all over the planet? On that very same day, I had to look it up on Google to confirm it, but I remembered it, there was a dust storm on that very same day from Morocco, going all the way up into Europe. Big sandstorm, remember that? And there was sand and darkness everywhere. Which day was that? The exact same day that Gurudeva left, there was a sandstorm that put us all into darkness. And America had a storm, but that's quite normal. But there's a big storm, Benjamin, he was called. And big American storm, but Americans always have storms. But yeah, that happened too. And Guatemala and Papua New Guinea, they had, did I say it right in English? Papua New Guinea? They had completely, as they thought, dead volcanoes back to life, and volcanoes started erupting also on the 29th of December onwards. So we see when Srila Gurudeva came, the world was in ecstasy, and when Gurudeva left, we had darkness, volcanoes erupting, and storms and all kinds of things. And this is just the planet, and Yash is ready with the kartal. But I remember myself, 2010, I had just moved to London and lived not too far from the Ganga Matas in Glasgow. And I was 28th of December, the night before, fighting on Facebook with a bunch of Brazilians because of the way they were treating the Ganga Matas about some dainty stuff. Anyway, we're fighting on Facebook, as you do on Facebook. And suddenly, these notifications started coming in where people started saying things about Gurudeva, unthinkable things. It's like, what? No, it's a joke. No, it's a mistake. Or, maybe he closed his eyes and he'll open them again. So I sent an email to Brajanath Prabhu. And all I said is it true? Sent. That's all. And he responded back saying, yes, it is true. And that was it. My world collapsed that very day. You can maybe relate to it where a lot of people have lives pre-COVID and post-COVID. But as Gurudeva disciples, we all have life pre-29 December 2010 and post-29 December 2010. That is when our lives completely changed. COVID was a joke compared to this. This was the game changer, not game changer, life changer. And we're all still recovering. We're all still dealing with it. If you go to therapy, that's the only thing that will probably come up, or the main thing. This is, sorry. Yeah, maybe I'll stop there. Go
Short anyway.
Tasya Gnanjanasvakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Prapmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Namani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vaita Garadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So first I offer my unlimited obeisances unto my divine spiritual master, Srila Krishna Vishnupada, Astatar Sadashi Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and all the Guru Varga, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis present here as well. Yeah, whenever I get asked to speak on this day, or whether it's the other above or to above, I never prepare anything because I like to personally just try and go from the heart, just kind of what comes up naturally. And I'm not one for philosophy and slokas, and even though I've been brought up as a devotee, I've never been so much into the studying side of it, I guess you could say. So that's why a lot of the time I try and just go with what kind of just comes naturally to me. And I often reflect on even just the little ways where in Gurudev's presence I really felt touched, by certain things he did. And even if it was as simple as his glance, which was so unbelievably powerful, and unless you've met someone like that, it's not something that you can put into words and then understand. He had such a piercing glance where you really felt like he could, it was magnanimity, he understood everything, and you felt very kind of naked in his presence, but also very loved, yeah, personally, I've never met anyone before or since who had that same effect on me. I first met him when I was 6 years old. Got Harinam the next year when I was 7. And then I saw him over the years, normally at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, either at the Kartik or Panim in India, or the European festivals as well. And at that time I was very young, so I didn't really take it very seriously or even understand so much what was going on. But one thing that was unbelievably apparent to me, which was undeniable, was just being in his presence. There was an energy which was just unlike anything else you have ever experienced. And there were many times where, as I said, it was just little things which really made a big impact on my heart. And when I feel that I'm going through things, I reflect on those times and recall them and feel very nourished and very secure, from remembering that. One thing that really was a very beautiful experience for me was, I think it was in, where is it we were in 2009, I'm going blank. Europe Festival. Venice. Yes, Venice, yeah. And it was my birthday, and basically my mum brought me up to Gurudev and said, oh, it's his birthday today. And then Gurudev did, can't even remember what he did exactly, he said some mantras and he had some flower petals, put them on my head. And I had this very interesting experience where, it didn't come from a thought, or it wasn't something that I felt had anything to do with my own kind of creation in an internal sense. But I just burst into tears. It just came from out of nowhere. And I almost felt like it was some sort of mercy from Gurudev that he kind of gave me this kind of emotional experience, but it didn't felt like it was something manufactured for myself. It felt like it was him giving me some sort of a birthday kind of blessing or mercy. And, that was really beautiful for me. And I recall kind of what I felt during that experience at that time. And, he's, even since he passed, and, physically, of course, he's still present in my life. And, I often call out to him, and, in dreams, he sometimes comes to me when I've, been struggling with stuff and I'm asking him for some help. He comes and, in different ways, whether it's in dreams or in other cases where he kind of puts things in my life to kind of get things to be sorted out, if that makes sense. I feel like he's very much still in my life, even if I'm not always as good a devotee, quote unquote, as I could be. But I still feel like, that love is still eternally there, and he's always there for me. He's closer to us than the air we breathe, right? as he said. Yeah, I always like being able to have this opportunity because I feel like it's me trying to call out for mercy and for some bala, some spiritual strength, because my bhakti has been all over the place for a long time, but like I'm not spiritually very strong these days, and I just am praying to Gurudeva that he can give me some spiritual strength to have more of a, I guess, regular routine with some spiritual practice again, and just to kind of deepen on that level. So I'm calling out and praying to Gurudeva that he can bestow his mercy on me in that way and try and help me spiritually. And I know he's always there, and I feel eternally grateful for the chance that I got to meet him physically several times, and the fact that now that link is eternally there on a spiritual level. Yeah, I feel very blessed, and I don't think I even understand the depth of how blessed I am. But all glories to Srila Gurudev, and yeah, please help me. As you know, I need the help, and if I can serve you in some way, if I can try and deepen my relationship with you, you know, please, whatever you need to do, I'm calling out for mercy, Srila Gurudev. Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Bhakti Bhakti Vrinda. I offer my pranams to my Shri Bhaktivedanta Shri Narayana Maharaj, my Gurudev, and all the Parampara, and all the Vaishnavas and the devotees. I don't like doing these things, but like I'm hoping some blessings and some mercy comes through. I think Gurudev, for me, Gurudev is here more. Every year, he's more in my life. I feel the more I get conscious and Krishna conscious, the more I can understand and feel him. And the more the prayer comes for the mercy. I took initiation in 2010, and I went to all the Vaishnava festivals in Europe, not in India, and they were amazing. They were like spiritual infusions, but I had so many material desires, so many, and it clouded my perception of just the depth of Gurudev. And now, whenever I see that, I'm closer to you than the air you breathe, it brings tears to me, because I spend so much time chatting away to Gurudev, just telling him, even if I'm complaining, then I go, I'm really sorry I'm complaining, but can you not just help it out? You know, he's like I remember at one darshan, he said, my brother was saying something my mum was telling what my brother wanted to say in Hindi, and Gurudev said, I am your only friend. And it felt like he was saying it to me. And over the years, I've realised that he's my only friend, because I was so deep in thinking I'd get some joy in the material world from the friends that are dabbling in this and dabbling in that. Maybe I haven't really been happy for the last, well, it's coming back now, but the last 5 years since COVID hit, but also the menopause. You know what that does? It takes away your drive for life, and you spend your life trying to chase something that was there before, this person that was there before. Not that she was a happy person, but she had a drive and a thrill, and she wanted to keep trying. But the material world, it's like the veil gets taken off, and you and the kicks don't. you're just numb to so many things because your drive's taken, your purpose, you don't know, you're lost. And then and it makes you surrender because you're on this thing, you're not in spiritual life particularly, you haven't gone fully there, and material life is not happening for you neither. And then and in the last 2 years, like last year was a year full of fear, because you get to a certain age and you're like, oh my God, I've got chikungunya, how am I going to work, who's going to look after me, what's going to happen? And I had to, chikungunya is really bad. and you're thinking, and you have to really surrender. And then this year, I'm not sweating the small stuff, and I pray to Gurudeva every day, and I'm so happy. Since I've come back from India, and I think something happened in Cardiff with Bhakti Srila Maharaj, I tell you, he's magic as well for a Shiksha Guru. I mean, something is softening in my heart. Something, the sweetness of Gurudeva is coming through, the sweetness of understanding Tattva is coming through, the understanding that, especially now, in this time, look out there, the material world is never so ugly as it is. Like, never. And if you don't have a faith, a deep faith, you might as well slit your wrists or something. You need something, right, to pull you out of the gutter. So you have to surrender. You have to, even if you don't believe it, you end up praying. You're like, well, I've only got you, so here I go. You know, that's it. Krishna and Gurudev. That's it. And that's where it's got to. And with that, it just reminds me of that verse, Samsara Davana Lila Loka, when, you know, like this, where we're suffering in this, Guru comes to extinguish the fire of material existence. You don't really believe that, do you? Till you get to the menopause and past, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm ready, okay, I'm. And this Adi Baudik, Adi Daivik, and Adi Atme, all these things. Honestly, after last year, I've had to just like, okay, what does surrender mean? I have to let it go. So every time things are coming up, I'm like, okay, you want me to learn humility? Okay, what next? Okay, don't worry about money. Okay, how am I going to do this? You suddenly start, the more you pray and the more you ask, okay, and the more you see everything that's been put on your plate as not a bad thing, so you're not troubled by the mind stuff or the people troubling you, but like, okay, a lesson, what do you want me to learn? Okay, Gurudev, I see how selfish I am, but I can't help it. We've got a lodger now because Bean's away. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so used to my personal space. This is so hard. Okay, Gurudev, what do you want me to learn? Humility. Okay, sharing space. Okay, it's not mine. Okay. But it comes slowly. So hopefully next year, some bit more chips of the old ego and the me, myself and I will have come off a bit more, because he's throwing little pebbles at me. Not really big boulders or anything, but... They're having an effect because the consciousness wants to let go. And so, all glories to Srila Gurudeva.
I don't think there's much time left. I'm keep it short.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Srila Jantanaya Srila Chakstumi Tamine Kaspirasi Manchakova Drubischa Pipasingi Vircha Bhaktiram Pavni Vyo Vaishnavyo Namo. Oh God, sometimes I forget the mantra. Anyway, Gurudev does really know I know it. And also Prabhupada's mantras as well. I'm sorry, actually, you know what I was feeling is that what I feel that Gurudeva was saying is that when anyone speaks, actually show full respect to the person that speaks, because you also get plenty of benefit from just trying. I mean, I'm not very good at remembering, but trying your best to hear that person speak. And also it removes, I feel, remove some of the envy in your heart as well. When you practice that really nicely, and you generally want to understand that person's feelings and mood that they have for our beloved, the same beloved. It's not different. So I was doing my best. And I like these accents as well. I haven't heard the Scottish accent in a long time. Thanks very much. That's so refreshing, actually, from being out there.
Likes to hear you.
Yeah.
Likes your accent.
So yeah, this morning when I woke up, I asked her, and I'm not sleeping very well, so I'm just getting up and I'm saying, well, okay, maybe I've been cursed and I can't sleep very well. So at least let me try and transform that disability, that problem that I'm having, to serve you. And I'm not very awake when I'm serving you, but I'm trying. So I got up and I lit an incense to Gurudeva in the kitchen. I didn't want to disturb Didi in the sitting room. So I had puja on every single place. So I wonder, I have to be so careful. I'll tell you a few things about what Madhav Maharaj told me as well when he came over. Thanks to Vishnu Priya for arranging that. But this morning I was saying, how can I honour you, Gurudeva, when you're on your disappearance day? On the separation, because actually it's when we're separated that we feel most inclined to our emotions. Sometimes we may be taking for granted that the Guru's alive and with us right now, and we can't really connect, and we can't really understand because we're just maybe not there completely. But when we allow ourselves to think a bit more deeply and just ask Gurudev, give me the right emotions and feelings that I can understand you, and even the right words to say, and it helps all of us, no matter what level we're at. And that's the greatest thing I'll speak about Harinam today. And we met Gurudev sent somebody as well that we have to take care of. It's no judgment with this, that and the other. He's a bit distracted right now. So yeah, this morning I woke up and I asked Gurudev, how shall I honour you? And then he said, don't overthink this. Because I was thinking, shall I have my breakfast first? Shall I wash first? Shall I do this? Shall I do that? And that's the mind. And then he said, then I thought, why don't I haven't gone to Guru Puja for a long time. You can worship me there in Soho Street. Go for Guru Puja there in Soho Street. But we're not, that's my feeling, is that we're not different from each other. So go and attend Guru Puja. You haven't been for a long time. So it was actually Janardhan Prabhu who said, actually when you're with anyone, you just pick up all the good qualities that they have, and just help if they're struggling as well. But so Janardhan Prabhu was going in the morning and I said, he's reminded me that I should do the same. And I went there this morning and it felt really great. It's such a relief to feel better than what you felt before. Yeah. So just going there, and that temple is very special. And I also need to say thank you to Radha Londonishwara as well, because I want to develop an attachment to these deities. And I'm there cooking for them, but I don't really understand their mood, so I need to hear from the devotees there who are always, 24 hours a day, so the brahmacharis are really doing their best to please Prabhupada by serving Prabhupada's mission. And I respect that so much. And they know I'm Narayana Maharaj's disciple. And one time, the head pujari who employed, I'm saying employing, because it's like for me a job, and I'm saying this is my new employer, so, your guru is your employer. And that sounds better than my other employers anyway. And, so I cook for the deities, and I always, the prayers you have to do for forgiveness when you're not doing it right, and I know I'm not doing it right because I've done a lot of rajas before I got in the kitchen, but they allowed me to be there still. Probably because I know how to do it now, but I know I'm not doing it. Because I do ask Krishna, and I ask Gurudev, and I ask all of the gurus to be beside me and help me do this, just manage to finish the Mangalati sweets well. And I try to ask, I don't know Radharani, I like Krishna, but I know that I read somewhere that the heart of Gurudev is Radharani. And how did I get into that school? How did I get into any of these schools, by the way? And I'm thinking to myself, what good fortune. Sometimes the good fortune doesn't come in the package that you expected, because I'm thinking of, where do I take Shiksha and all that? I got so confused after Gurudev left us in 2010. And he came out in Govardhan, and he came onto the staircase, and he said, his last instruction to all of us was that we should go to Navadvip. And since that time, I've not been. So I think that would be actually quite special when I go there next. And one other place I never went to, and I wrote to Gurudeva, please ask Nityananda Prabhu, can I have his blessings? And he said, I will ask him. In his reply, you can feel his Shakti in any reply. And then after Gurudeva left, I went to Vrindavan. And the first place I went to was Ekatra with my Shiksha Gurus. And I think Shiksha Gurus, we all should understand that every one of our Shiksha Gurus can give something. And I'm still learning which one I need to go deep with, because I know that we should tend to try and go deep so that we can actually have some sort of depth in our bhajan and a personal ishtadev. And I'm very, 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 very attracted, always have been, to the lotus feet of Gurus and to Lord Krishna's lotus feet. But then I don't know anything about, I know I'm taking the shelter of Gurudeva and he's fully surrendered to Srimati Radharani, and I want to know about her. So when I'm in the kitchen in Saraswati, I'm praying to her, okay, can I cook something nice for Krishna? Just show me how you do it. And I actually asked both of them, and I said, Radharani, show me how I can cook nicely for Krishna, and then Krishna, how I can please her best. But I know you can only do that with them. So it was nice that you said something about what happened when Gurudeva came to the West and all of these demigods had produced miraculous things. And I'm thinking about the danda that Gurudeva carries, and he's carrying all of the demigods in his danda, so maybe they were actually getting some mercy themselves from him being in the West. Anyway, there's quite a lot. But my kind of offering is always, like when Krishna people were speaking, I'm not really well studied and educated, and Madhav Maharaj knows that very well. But you know what? All I wanted is just a good friend. And he came over and he said, when he first came and greeted me at where I live, he looked at the garden and he said, and there was this poppy growing. You get the drugs from, that sort of poppy. And I thought, where did it come from that? Because I never saw it before. And then he looked at me, because I had a little bit of a past, and he looked at me and he said, I didn't put it there, Maharaj, And I think he wanted to ask me, have you? And I hadn't. Have you? And I hadn't. So, and I asked Maharaj, did Gurudeva send you? Because I was in really big trouble. And I didn't want to share that with anyone. I shared it with him. And the thing is, he has actually become. Someone said that with your Shiksha Guru, you should become friendly and have a friendship. So my friendship is a little bit mundane, but Maharaj entertained it. And I know I'll get better. And he knows that I need to know scripture. One time when I came here, he asked me, everyone was here, play the harmonium. I said, I'll do next year. But he said next lifetime. And I know what he means. Actually, I'm getting a little bit of time now, so maybe I can wait for the next life. And I just hope. And I did tell him, okay, if you said next lifetime, then make sure you're there to receive me. I don't want to waste any more time and go to some other odd family. So if you can be part of that family, then I have a chance to speed up my progress in spirituality.
Jagatam. Just before Ajit, we give it to Ajit Prabhu. We have Budara Prabhu who's going to speak on call with us, just to share, and then we'll come back to Ajit.
Do you need this?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
others will be able to hear it.
You just say that's on the call, is it?
Budara Prabhu ki
Budara.
I'm very sad and unhappy that I couldn't be there tonight. It's been a long drive, and so you'll excuse me for not being physically present, but I've been watching the program and found so much inspiration from what everybody has said. Especially, I texted Sudevi and asked why Ramananda Prabhu doesn't speak like that all the time. So if we could get a round of applause for him too. He's got the gift, it's natural. A few words about Gurudev and my memories of Gurudev. I think for me today, it's always a bittersweet remembrance, as one of the devotees said. You know, we're reflecting on, in a way, our separation from Gurudev. How many times we think we would like to hear directly from him, be in his association, touch his feet, take his Mahaprasad, just be in his company. And yet, also, in separation, we can feel him more. And I'm really beginning to understand, I think, something important, at least for me in my spiritual life, which is that, we have to show up, and we have to do what we do. We have to do our sadhana. We have to put in the attention and the time and the patience. We have to make sacrifices. We have to chant the Lord's holy name. But more than that is karuna. It's mercy. And Srila Gurudev is really the embodiment of that mercy. He gave it so freely. I was completely shocked hearing that he's initiated 100,000 persons around the planet. I had no idea it was that many. It reminds me of when Srila Gurudev first came to the West. There were just a few devotees following him at that time. But his charm, his sweetness, his erudition, his elegance, it's just beautiful to look at. I mean, and how could anybody not really be enamored by him in his presence? So, what I guess what I'm trying to say or get to say is that, in my mind, Gurudev's mercy has taken an embodiment in all of you, in all of the devotees. To think that there's 100,000 disciples out there who are inspired by developing some kind of seva to Radharani, which is Gurudev's special contribution to the world, is a wonderful, wonderful experience. It's overwhelming, actually, to think about it, because those early days were simple days. Gurudev showed us how the world can be changed with love. He traveled the world 33 times. He just gave constantly to everybody. Just wonderful, really. And when I see all of you there, aside from making me feel sad that I'm not there, it also makes me happy that you're there and that you're so touched by Gurudev and his kindness, his generosity, his tolerance for all of our faults. And I guess I'm speaking about his karuna because that's what I'm counting on. So I'll leave it at that. I'll ask your blessings for being able to remember Gurudev every day, being able to do some service to the devotees, and just say that I'm really full of gratitude for all of you. So thank you.
Hari Hari Bol. Ajit Prabhu, you say something.
That's of course. I'll come back next time.
Very good.
Text me and come back all the time there. Monday, I'm left my job and I'll come back in constructions. My job is back. Monday, I'll come back in constructions. I don't know Monday, but after the New Year, constructions we do different what you do now. Now is no good job because my boss is in the front door. She say, "Come now because I want you now."
Okay, I'm gonna speak to her.
Dear devotees, I'm sorry, my language is not perfect, but maybe I a little bit can tell about Gurudev, about I can tell a little bit how I can was 2026 25 to 26 years ago in Lithuania we time was a little bit difficult. We was await Gurudev and Sadhu Maharaj before lived in Lithuania in Vilnius, and Sadhu Maharaj helped me and more devotees help go to Moscow when Gurudev will come to Moscow to airport. We together 5 devotees in my car go to Moscow from Lithuania, and we was wait Gurudev in airport. Time was happy. First time we was see Mahabharata. We understand is very good time in life, in the life. Next day, Moscow devotees asked me, maybe I can drive for Gurudev. And my car was a little bit better, and I drive Gurudev from festival to Moscow city in central Moscow. When they lived Gurudev. Later I again drive for airport. Time was very good. I remember Gurudev 2 times came in my dream when was about 6 months when Gurudev will go to spiritual world. I has dream and understand. Gurudev showed me he quickly go out. I worked in London. After this dream, I go to job to work, and next day, and with bus, I forgot where is my job, where I have to go. Maybe 5 bus stop I forgot, and go to straight, go more far and more far. After I see where I go, where is my job, where I see maybe 30 minutes time I belated to job this morning, and I understand. Gurudev quickly will go out. Gurudev show me. Gurudev, this time in my life was a little bit difficult. I have to work, but Gurudev came to dream and show me. It is very good, yeah. And second time Gurudev came in my dream again and show me. It was about 2000, maybe 17. It was after then was finished here jobs, and Gurudev came to dream again, and Gurudev showed me what I have to do in future. Yes, and only two times Gurudev came to my dream. But this dream, it was dream is more how usually it is not dream. I only my language is limited, but it was not dream.
Vision.
Yeah.
Because time is very short, we only have like so much longer left.
Нету времени больше.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone can keep to 5 minutes now because Ram went over by so long.
Blessing.
Everyone comes in time.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My name is Srila, and this was like a very impromptu decision that I just decided to speak today. So my friendship or association with Gurudeva basically started in 2010, which is like a very small time that I got to spend with him. It started with my father who came to London. It's funny because we're Indians, we're from India, but we came in association when we were in the UK. And so basically my father, he met Divya Matas and he started to go to the temple, and we were in India and he came over to just visit us for Christmas, and I saw him chanting, and I literally lost my mind that how is it that he's become all devotion, because I never really saw him doing these kind of things. And then Mom, me and Shruti were just like, okay, and we're just trying to understand what's happening. And then he just told us about Gurudeva, and he said, you'll understand everything, it's okay, it'll take time, and I'm going to go back now. But next week he's planning to come to the Delhi temple in Janakpuri, and you guys should go and meet him. So I was 10 years old, so I have a twin sister as well, and we went to Janakpuri temple, and my first interaction with Gurudev was, he came in a white car, and I just saw his eyes. That's the first thing, and the only prominent thing that I literally remember, and sometimes I feel that I'm so dumb not to understand these things when I was young, but I was young. So I saw Gurudev's eyes, and I was like, wow, so pretty. It was like blue, and his look, literally, I could, even though I was 10 years old, but I knew that when I saw him, you know, like someone who just reads you and knows what's going inside your head, and he's just like, okay, that's something which we need to work on. I could see that in his eyes. And you know, I was just 10 years old, so I couldn't really understand everything. But, and then we came to London to meet, like, my father, and we spent time there. So I would say it's very funny, but when we came to Pasto Temple in 2010, I met Sundaram and Prabhu Jagatan Didi, Yashaswini Didi, Ramananda Prabhu, a lot of devotees. That's when I started to learn everything about Krishna consciousness, about the Mahamantra, about the Bhagavad Gita. I started to attend classes, even though I'm from India and I believe everyone just like practices it there. So that's how my journey started. And then my father met Gurudeva for the first time after us in the Italy festival, which was Gurudev's last European festival. And that's where he took Harinam. And oh wait, I forgot. So when we were in India, we went to meet Gurudeva for the second time in Govardhan. And there, I was so enthusiastic to learn about everything. I said, okay, I'm going to go meet Gurudeva, but first I'm going to take 108 rounds of the temple deity there, and then I'm going to go and meet Gurudeva. And I didn't know a lot, but I just knew that I'm going to meet Gurudeva and I'm going to get Harinam. And Gurudeva just asked me very basic questions. What's your name? I said, Srila. And he said, nice name. And then, next question, do you chant? I said, I will chant from now onwards. And then he said, are you vegetarian? I said, yes. And then he said, good. And he just blessed me and my sister. And he said, keep chanting. That's like how we got initiated. And then we came to London, and then we did books distribution. We got a beautiful sangha here. And I'm 25 years old now. And so when I left for college in India, we have a big picture of Gurudev, and it was like a very normal ritual. I would always leave home, but before leaving I would just touch Gurudev's feet and go. But I was so young that I could never really understand a lot. I was just following, I was just doing everything. And then when I left college, I just realized I forgot everything, and I got into this, this bubble that, I can figure out my life on my own, and, just take things in control, and it's all cool now. And then I did my undergrad from Chennai, and then I came to Leeds for my master's. I did a job and everything. I realized I was kind of separating from all of this, and I kind of lost touch of everything. And there came a moment where I started to feel very lonely, and I didn't really have my parents here with me. They were here, but then they went back to India. And there came a moment in my life where everything was going fine. I was doing well with my studies. Everything was normal, but I just didn't know something was missing. I got my degree, everything was fine. And then one day Kamali said, why don't you come to Wales for Radha Ashtami? And I went there with my friends. And when we had Arti there, I started to cry, and I realized that this was something which I was really missing, and that was the thing that was missing. And from that day onwards, I think Gurudev basically, he kind of said, okay, go enjoy whatever you want to, just go take it, but you'll realize, you'll come back. And then after my degree, movements came in such a way that I came to London, I met everyone again, and then I also started to feel happy again, and I started to realize how important it is to have a beautiful sangha and to be spiritually grounded and keep in touch. And when I went home, the moment I saw Gurudev's picture, I literally realized that I used to touch his feet every day when I used to be in India, used to be around sangha, and the moment I left home, and I just thought that, okay, I can do everything on my own, and it's all cool, I'll be very strong. I just realized that Gurudev was always looking after me, and he's my friend, and I was so young to understand all of these things. I was literally 10 years old, but I was just trying to see how things work. But I really now, whenever I look at Gurudeva, it still happens. When I look at his picture, I can see sometimes his expression just tries to tell me that, don't do that. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. There's very end moments I'm just jumping from topics, but yeah, that's all I have to say.
Where do I start? I'll try to keep it short. Yeah. I'm just so blessed that to have been able to have the association of my Gurudev Sri Maharaj from such a young age, and my mum would drag me around to all the festivals whenever he was around as well. and yeah, I just feel so blessed. And you know, when you're young, you don't realize the potency of what you're actually receiving, you know. And I sort of, you know, when you're young and you can have that innocent heart and you can be there, like in it, like, I don't know, I was able to, you know, really have a connect. Like you said, you know, that glance of Gurudeva, it's like you can just feel his presence. And I took Harinam from him in like 2009, but then like after he left and I became a teenager and I live in London, which is basically, you know, Sin City, I, you know, lost my way, and I've never really fully forgot, but you know, chose not to remember about Gurudeva, about Krishna consciousness, and just like, you know, indulging in Maya, sense gratification, you know, doing just dumb stuff. And I really just lost my way, and I completely, like, you know, didn't realize how strong that connection was with Gurudeva until it was in 2020, lockdown happened, and you know, that social distancing sort of, I sort of started coming back to like realizing, you know, wanting to go deeper again, and the Ganga Matas just got their place in Skegness, and I remember going there. It was like my mum was going up there, and she was like towards, like during lockdown, and she was like, oh, she's going to go up to the new temple in Skegness, and you know, I wasn't even thinking, oh, let me go to the temple. I was thinking, let me get out of London for a bit, you know. And this is where my mind was at, you know. I wasn't even thinking like this. I was thinking, oh, it'd be nice to see them as well. I haven't seen them since maybe like a few years at this point, you know. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'll go up there. And the day I arrived is actually that same morning. I arrived in the evening, but the same morning, Gurudev's Murti actually arrived on that same day. And I don't know if you've seen the Murti that they have, but it's, you know, very powerful. And I remember, like, you know, like it's sitting in front of his Murti, and like he just like that look, and that he just came to life, and he was there, and this was him. It was no separation from. He was there in front of me. I'm even getting goosebumps right now, and he looked like through me, and it's almost like he told me, you know, like that stern father, like, what are you doing? Like, you know so much better than this. Like fix up, basically. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it's like you know, you had your time doing like in ignorance, but like now you need to fix up, basically. And it was this surreal experience of like this wave that went through me, and it was all just like this communication that was just without words, but just felt in my heart, and it threw me off completely because I didn't expect to come there and receive that. And like, even I was just so spaced out. Even when I got back to London, because we was there for a few days, and I got back to London, and I remember just being like dissociated, just a bit like spaced out, like. And like, even meeting my friends, they was like, what's up with you? I'm just like, I was just very like, just like spaced out for like a week afterwards. And I remember, like, I think it was like a couple weeks later, I was like, I have to go back. And I went back and I stayed in the Ganga Matas for like a week, and I had to reconnect with Gurudeva, and he actually saved me, you know. He didn't forget about me, and I forgot about him, but he didn't forget about me. And he came exactly at the right time, and he pulled me out, and he brought me back into you know, his pocket. And I didn't realize, it was only after this I realized how powerful and how lucky I was, and the connection, you know, that was made when I was younger. And I was just, from then, you know, I've, you know, been trying to develop and, you know, do what I can. I still, you know, like get lost in Maya sometimes, all the time, but, you know, I'm trying. And, you know, I'm just so grateful to have Gurudeva in my heart, and to have been, you know, had his association. And yeah, Jai.
Okay, how many people are left? Because it is getting very late, so I'm a bit concerned we have to do Guru Puja and Sarvashadam and the whole thing. So if we can speak just a few minutes each, because we can't fit everybody in, otherwise we'll be here all night. So can we have, who hasn't spoken yet? And who else? Wow, okay. So if we can have, I don't know who's more senior.
I'm not much of a public speaker, as you guys mostly know me for singing kirtan and eating prashadam. I've known Gurudev since '96. I grew up going to India every year, spending 6 months in Bhubaneswar with Srila Gurudeva Maharaj. And just a bit before Gaur Purnima, he left this world, and I was really small. I was 7 years old, and I felt this grief of everybody around me and of the most important person in our life that had just left. And with my family, we went up to Vrindavan, and Gurudeva Maharaj used to always say this verse, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrika, Leva Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. You need to have association of sadhus. You need to have association of sadhus. So my family went looking for the next sadhu that we could get association from. And I met Srila Bhakti Puri Goswami Maharaj. And then I went to Mathura and met Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj, my Gurudev. And yeah, I remember him being such a lion back then. One of my first memories of him is someone was outside his door in the Mathura Math downstairs, not before his room was moved to the roof. And someone shouted, Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. And he ran out of the room and grabbed the first thing he could see, a pumpkin, and smashed it on the head of the person who said that. And I was like, wow, that's humility. That's the kind of humility I like. It was so striking to see that you would not want to be glorified. Then about a year later, he came to France. He came all over Europe, but he came to France, and I got Harinam then. And most of my I've come from a big family. We're 5 brothers and sisters. So the younger one was a baby, so he didn't get Harinam, but all of us took Harinam. And my big brother's name was Ramananda Rai. And he wanted to change his name because he heard when you take initiation, you can change your name. So Gurudev said, no, Ramananda Rai, best name, I can't change. Then my big sister's name is Lalita Saki. She also wanted to change. I said, Lalita Saki is best name, I cannot change. And my younger sister is named Sharanagati. Sharanagati is best name, I cannot change. Then came to me, I was Vishnujan back then. And he's like, Vishnujan. Vishnujan, not so rasik. And then he thought for a minute, and I was like, Brajmohan, much better. So I've been Brajmohan since then. And then yeah, every year he used to come to Europe, and we'd drive 10-15 hours from south of France to go see him in Amsterdam, or to see him in Italy and stuff like that. And then in 2003, I went with my dad to Kartik. I got Diksha then when I was 14. And then the next year, it was Purushottam Mas in Jagannath Puri, where Gurudev was doing a parikrama of the whole Kshetrabandha, the whole Puri area. And we knew that Gurudev's health wasn't so good anymore, and that it might be one of the last one. So I had a bunch of money saved from all my Christmases and birthdays and things that I never knew what to spend on. So I bought a flight and came with my dad to do that. And I really wanted to stay in the mud then, but then I had to go back to school. months later, I came back to Kartik. Oh, actually, let's rewind that. The Kartik before, when I took Diksha, Gurudev told me, oh, I want you to be my brahmachari, I want you to travel with me, I want you to do kirtan and learn how to do all these things. And I was so pumped that was the best thing I've ever heard. That's what I wanted to do. And then towards the end of Kartik, me and my dad went to see him and asked him, okay, so what should we do? Should we arrange for a visa for him to stay in India, or for a world tour ticket to go on with you? Or... And then he's like, actually, how old are you? 14? Like, oh, better you go back to school. So then the next year, again, jump forward again, I came back for Kartik and I really wanted to stay. And then my mom was like, no, you're too young, you're only 15, you have to come back. So then a couple of months later, I wrote to Gurudev and asked him, Gurudev, I know you told me to go back to school, but I'm kind of done with it now, can I come? He said, okay, if you want to come, you can come. So I came for Orphanim, and I was supposed to stay 6 months. 5.5 months passed, and I started traveling with Tirtha Maharaj to different countries, and I was having the best time of my life. I had lost 30 kilos. And then I called my mom and said, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm not coming back. And then I ended up staying 6 years in the mat with Gurudev, just doing as much seva and as much kirtan as I could. Jai Haribol.
Rana, I just wanted to.
Is everyone a little bit patient just to hear the last couple of people, yeah? Thank you, guys. It's very kind.
I'll just share, because I'm not from London, obviously, so it's nice to hear all of your experiences, and it's very nice. I'll just share, I first came in contact with Gurudeva through his books in '96. It was the first time he came to Canada, to Vancouver, but I missed him when he came. But he left behind his mercy in the form of his books, and still it's there right now. And I was young, I was 19, I was pregnant with my first child, and I remember I'd been reading Prabhupada's books, and I was wanting to find someone like Prabhupada, and that's when I first received his book. So then I heard about him again, and at that point I was desperate. I moved to Badger before I even met him. I just decided I'd just move. I took my daughter, she was 3, we moved to Badger, and 6 months I got to hear from all the devotees there about him every single day, until he finally, we went to LA and he got off the plane, and it was like most amazing. Just so that he was there in person, and that was 2000. I took Harinam in San Diego, and then I wish I could say so much more, but I can't, so I won't. But I will say that this meeting and separation, I was reading a little bit to Bhakti Maharaj today just about meeting and separation, and how, and even this, my little Gurudev, even I was in Brighton, I'll just share this very briefly. I was in Brighton, and I was sitting there, and I was thinking, like, I'm all alone in Brighton. What am I doing here? And I was sitting in front of my Thakurji, and I was just crying, and I was like, I don't know why I'm here. You left me all alone, and I don't know why. And then the next day, I got a message on Facebook, and it was this one devotee. I didn't even know him personally. He somehow, anyway, he sent me a message, and he said, Didi, can I bring something for you tomorrow? And I was like, oh, I don't know, okay. And then he comes to my door, and he has Gurudeva in his hands. Just like, oh my God, Gurudeva hurt me. And he came to my door. And I said, what do you mean? Like, you want me to have your Gurudeva? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. to have him. And I said, okay. So even today, even in his, he's still coming to all of us in so many ways. And I'll end on that. So how you go?
No. She makes tiramisu nice.
Oh my gosh, Madame Bassila, Blanchina, Kayla, Shakshu, Tasmation. I feel like everyone touched on all the points I had in my head in their own way, and all the kind of things I've been thinking about Gurudev lately. I think for me, the greatest presence or gift that Gurudev has given me is that he's always been in my life. So even though I only met him, well, even though I was 5 when I met him, like, my life is Gurudev in the sense of I know that my life without Gurudev wouldn't be a life. And even now, even though he's not physically present, he's always there. And as Krishna said, it's more that I have forgotten that he's there. But yeah, just Gurudev was always there for us in the hardest moments. And I think in the hardest moments is when you feel Gurudev's presence the most. And even though life can be falling apart or different things, like, that's when you really can hold on to Gurudev's feet and you can feel him there. And coming here, it's like, actually, like, looking at Gurudev, it was more like joy that came in, and that sense of kind of stepping back and looking at the stuff that life gives you and actually kind of it's kind of funny in a way. So kind of being able to, like, step back and kind of just see that it's not important because you have Gurudev. And I think, yeah, his mercy is just ever present for all of us in our lives. And I'll just say one really quick story. Basically, I think one of my best memories is on Parikram with Gurudev. I think I must have been 9, 10 or 11. And Gurudev was always such a powerhouse on Parikram. It was always just like, and everyone behind him, and like all of that kind of mercy and energy. And he's like, I'm going to take you with me to see Radharani and all these places. And I have this memory of, it was Anakut Govardhan Puja, and Gurudev's there bathing Giriraj Govardhan, and I'm surrounded by saffron robes. And somehow I was there and I was just like massaging Giriraj Govardhan as Gurudev was pouring all, I don't know the word for things. Yes, as you can see, I know nothing. But yeah, and I realized it wasn't until a year ago that I was like, wait a second, why was loads of saffron robes around me? Like, why was me as a 10-year-old there bathing Govardhan as Gurudev was pouring? And of course, if you know my mum, you know that she's like, get to the front. Like, this is your last chance. You never know when you're never going to have that opportunity again. So as a 10-year-old, she pushed me in between all the sannyasis as Gurudev was pouring. And yeah, that was my best, like, it's one of my best memories, because it wasn't me being in this material world, it was being in Gurudev's presence, and the joy that was there is unmatched for anything else that we can experience. And then later that day I was just on a high, so then we went and offered ghee lamps to Giriraj Govardhan, and this was when you had to like go under this barbed wire fence to get into Giriraj Govardhan. And I just remember basically wanting to merge with Giriraj, so I like dug a hole in Giriraj's dust and just buried my head. And I was like, this is perfection. I was like, I made life, you know. And so I think that's the thing. It's like like you were saying, Krishna Kripa, like you would go to these festivals as a kid and you might not fully realise what you had in a way, but one thing was that it was kind of like you knew you were outside of your daily experience and you knew that you're in something so special that couldn't be replicated anywhere else, and that was like the biggest grace of being able to really to feel the difference and to know that even if you couldn't realise it, you're in the presence of something beyond anything we can comprehend. And I think what I'm saying with lately, what's come to me a few times is basically we have Gurudev's mercy, but Gurudev's mercy is Radharani, you know, and so to actually comprehend that is just insane, to be able to be like, we are building and developing a relationship with Radharani and she's giving us the mercy through Gurudev. It's like, yeah, can't even understand it. So yeah, that's my
I'll try and keep this really quick. I just wanted to share a couple things that I've heard Srila Bhakti Srila Maharaj say about the role of Guru over the last few years that I've picked up. He didn't say them all together, but that I picked up randomly and it stuck with me. And the first was that Guru, capital G, amazing like Gurudev Guru, will make every disciple feel that they're the most loved. I think there's definitely, we've all had moments where we've felt Gurudev or Srila Prabhupada or whoever your guru is, like, come to you in a way where you've really felt that. And one small memory that came to mind was, I think I've said this before at some point, how I was about 9 years old and we were in the Mathura Mat, and after Hari Katha every evening, Gurudev would like choose one of the teenage boys to rest his shoulder on, to walk him up the stairs. And Madhav Maharaj would be on one side and he'd be resting on him, and then like he'd pick a boy out of the crowd, like Govardhan or Shravan or someone, and then like he'd put his other arm on there, and it would be a different boy every day, and they'd get to walk him up the stairs to his room. And every day I was like, I want that job. I want that job. But I knew, I was like, I'm a girl. Like, that's never going to be an option for me. But I was a very tall 9-year-old girl, so I was taller than most of them anyway. And one day, Gurudev just like turned to me and was like, you. And I got to do it, and I was like on his right-hand side, and he leant on me, and I got to walk him up the stairs, and it was the most special, amazing thing, because the boys used to get hugs and they used to get all these things that the girls never got, but he knew exactly what my desire was and he let me have it. And he made it so clear that he didn't see us for our bodies, he saw us for our heart and our soul, and in that moment it made me feel like I was the most loved. And so that's one of the definitions of Guru, is that he does that. Another one is that he takes something that's really far away and makes it feel really close. And Gurudev definitely did that with us by taking us on parikram, like you said, and all of his Harikatha, and this thing that is actually, like, if I really look at myself, I can't even fathom how far I am from having the kind of bhakti that you need to have to be even able to get there. But Gurudev made it feel like it was right there, and when he would speak and he would take us on parikram, we would feel like Radha and Krishna were like there with us. Or there was like, I didn't witness this, but I've heard, you know, where he'd be on parikram and he says to one devotee like, oh, did you see? And the devotee's like, no, what? And he said, Krishna's there with his coward boys, see? Like, he brought this so close to us. And the day that Lali and I got Harinam, in 96, actually I think it was even before then, like the day before, but we used to, when he came to stay in our house in 96, I was 7 and Lali was 5, and we'd go into the room to have a darshan with him, and he would just talk to us and he'd be like, what's Krishna doing right now? And then we'd like come later time, like another day, and he'd be like, what's he doing right now? What is he playing? Like, he wanted to talk to us and he wanted to bring Krishna so close to us. So that's another definition of Guru that I'd never heard before, is that he has this ability to bring it, something that's impossible, to bring it to our hearts. And then the other one is that Guru, the real definition of Guru is anyone who's real Guru will give you Radhadasyam. And that's true for like all the Gurus in our line, you know, like it's true for our whole parampara, but Gurudev exemplified that in really shining a light on that. That's what he was doing. They're all doing that, but Gurudev was like, came out and shouted it, basically, that's what he was doing. So those are the 3 points that I wanted to make. So,
we're going to have puja shortly, sorry. I'm not going to do a long speech, but I'm just going to recite one of my poems that I wrote, I think during Gurudev's centennial year. Just very quickly. Yeshwari, have you spoken?
No, but I don't want to.
No, she's not
You
spoken.
can do after me.
Yeah, she's prepared something to speak, so she's going to speak.
She can do it in Zoom.
Oh yeah, exactly. I can do it on Zoom. Very good.
Yes. I'll just do this very, very quickly, and you can be the last person to speak. But after that, we have to hurry because there's still a lot to get through, Guru Puja, etc. So, light as a breeze, you enter my heart, you capture my rhythm and take it apart. A new day comes and you enter so deeply. Surprise the world with your magic and beauty. The words you whisper travel far and wide, delivering drops of nectar in every corner and every height. Your books, they save us from the heavy tide. Taking shelter of your lotus feet is the only place to hide. I try every day to search for love, nothing like you, nothing like from above. You are directly there above and beyond, lead me to that transcendental pond. Without words, without expression, you've left such an imprint, a deep impression, an engraving deeper than etching on glass, spreading the teachings of Sri Rupa Goswami. Alas, I was handed the harness on the edge of this cliff. I'm in Maya's land, dancing to the sound of her riff. Without you, my life is incomplete, a waste of time sitting in my comfortable seat. On the road to heaven and hell, you took me out of this well. I didn't know who you were, but I felt you pulling me, miles away, calling me. I quit my Morrison's job and ran away. In search for you, I was nervous, but on the way. Somehow I ended up in Germany, and there you were, shining like the sun. Pure rays of light, impossible to run. Upon your presence, all fell flat on the ground. I stood there speechless, expressionless, no sound. You gave me hope, a rare jewel, giving life's essential fuel, to bring me back home to Godhead. I'd forgotten my father. I think I missed a line there. Yeah, I'd forgotten my father wearing these material lenses, wandering aimlessly like a gnome. When will be the day I come back home? The rope of love that connects us like a vine to the divine. Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Sham, Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudeva.
Firstly, I would just like to say that just one thing that Gurudev and Srila Maharaj both said. Okay, I'll see you all in Bhakti Zoom next week. But what Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj and Srila Gurudev both said in their letters, in one Harikatha Gurudev was speaking, and in Srila Maharaj's books, as True Servant and True Master also, he's speaking the same thing, exact same thing. He's telling a disciple, they're both telling a disciple, that how can you think that after I have taken you under my wing that I will ever leave you? And it really made me think for a second that he really has chosen all of us as a part of his crew. And like faults, no faults, qualifications, no qualifications, good, bad, we're ugly, and ugly is there as well. And you know, we're in a very unique position. As I've moved to India, I've realized that coming back here, how unique our position is in being in this Sangh, just this Sangh alone, let alone thinking about other places and other circumstances, other ways of being, because out of the entire world, with so many people in this world, I don't know how many billions of people there are, how many billions of living entities there are. Gurudev found us. He put us in a position to be able to get the highest goal. And there's only a few handful of us, even today, there's only a few handful of us that are able to be here to glorify him. And this position is something, I won't say anything else after this, but this position is the ultimate position. Gurudev's given us his hand and said, I won't let you go. You may fall, I will pick you up. You may go to hell, Srila Prabhupada said, and Gurudev said, if my disciple goes to hell, I'll go and find them and take them back. That's how unique and that's how much love and affection Gurudev, Srila Maharaj, if anyone's read any of his letters, the letters Jagadamdidi was speaking about Umaddi's relationship with Srila Maharaj. But if you read those letters, you understand that it's beyond anything. It's better than some of his brahmacharis. You know, she came to him when she was 16. She gave herself to him, you know, and Gurudev. So, like this you see, and we're so fortunate that we've got God brothers and sisters around us. We're not alone. And that's one thing that Gurudev has emphasized, that he gave us Srila Swami Maharaj disciples, firstly, who I'm very grateful for. But also, like, he's given us each other. If we just give each other just that 5 minutes of love and affection, how much more lighter would our day be? How much nicer will our day be? And this is Gurudev, this is the love and affection he's given. If we can give this love and affection, I'm sure that he will take us back to Goloka Vrindavan without any problems. So Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, thank you for coming. Bye Bhakti Zim, we'll see you soon. I'm going to start using it in all of my ends.
You should.
In a catchphrase. Does everyone want to see the Guru Puja? Oh, Budar Prabhu, you do? Okay, Hari Bom.
Yeah, you turned it on.
I did it. It's on. Here. Raj? Here.
Pujari ready?
Such a pleasant
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandhamai Savadhana Mate Bandhamai অবধান মাতে যাহার প্রসাদে বাই এ ভব তোরিয়া যায় যাহার কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি গুরুমুখ পদ্মবক্ষ চিত্তে করিয় আজ্ঞা গুরুমুখ আর না করিও মনে আশা আর না আর না করিও মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এই সে উত্তম গতি শ্রী গুরু শ্রী গুরু চরণে রটি এই সে উত্তম গতি শ্রী গুরু যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা যে প্রসাদে যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব চক্ষুধান দিল যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সে চক্ষুধান দিল যে এ চক্ষুধান দিল যে জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু সে চক্ষুধান দিল যে এ দিব্য জ্ঞান রিধে প্রকাশিত দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদে প্রকাশিত প্রেম ভক্তি যা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে প্রেম ভক্তি যা হইতে প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হইতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে বেদে গাই যাহার চরিত ও বেদে গাই যাহার চরিত ও শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু আরাম জানার বন্ধু শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু পতিত জনার বন্ধু শ্রী গুরু করুণা সিন্ধু লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন শ্রীলা গুরুদেব মোদের জীবন यहाँ प्रभु कर दया दे हमर पद छाया प्रभु कर दया यहाँ प्रभु कर दया दे हमर पद छाया श्री गुरु देव कर दया दे हमर पद छाया पदे लाइनु शराना गुरुदेव तुआ पदे लाइनु शराना ये बेजा सुख सूत्र भुवाना शिला गुरुदेव पतित पवाना यहाँ प्रभु करो दया ते हमारे पद छाया गुरुदेव करो दया दे हो मोरे पद छाया गुरुदेव करो दया दे हो मोरे पद छाया तू पद लाइनु शरणा गुरुदेव बेदा सब सुक्ति भुवना जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय नारायण गोस्वामी जय गुरुदेवा पवन गोस्वामी जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो गुरुदेव गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो जय जय हो तुम्हारी जय जय हो गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेव उपतित पावन गुरुदेवा पतित पावन गुरुदेवा पतित पावन गुरुदेवा जय जगत गुरु जय गुरुदेवा जय जगत गुरु जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो गुरुदेव तुम्हारी जय जय हो हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग 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 निताय गौरांग 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 निताय गौरांग निताय 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 गौरांग निताय 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 गौरांग निताय 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 गौरांग Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaurango, Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaurango, Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gaurango. Nitai, Nitai, Nitai. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai Gaurango, আমার সোনার গৌরাঙ্গ। সোনার গৌরাঙ্গ, সোনার গৌরাঙ্গ। গৌরা হরি, গৌরা হরি। গৌরা হরি, গৌরা হরি। Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Nitai, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gaurango. Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaurango, Gaurango, Nitai Gaurango. Gaur Nityananda bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Nityananda bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Gadadhar bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Gadadhar bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Shri Advaita bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Shri Advaita bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Shri Vasadi bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Shri Vasadi bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Shri Vasadi bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Gurudev bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Gaur Gurudev bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Hari bolo, Hari bolo, Hari bolo, Hari bolo, Hari bol, 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 Hari bol. Hari Hari bol, Hari 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 bol, Hari bol, Hari bolo, 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 Jai Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jaya 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 Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara. Jaya Saparshadha, Jaya Gaura Hari, Parishada Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Raman Bihari Radha Raman Bihari Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Giri Raja Jaya Govardhana Govardhana Jaya Vrindavana Sai Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Sai Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Hari Gaur Sai Gaur Hari Jai Gauranga, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Gurudev ki